And so people who are non-white are either like, they're either visitors or they were brought against their will, but they don't actually belong to the concept of the nation.
No, I'm not worried at all. I rely on God, Allah.
As Muslims living in Western countries, many of us are born and raised in these countries. We don't know any other country to call home. That this is our home. We may have visited other ancestral lands, but really our roots are here within Canada.
Mm.
And there's been a question that's daunted practicing Muslims who are born and raised here in Canada. And that is anytime they try to practice their religion, they're trying to practice their deen to the best that they can, they will get some type of this, in some shape or form, a certain argument which says, listen, why are you trying to change Canadian society or UK society? If you don't like how Western society functions, then leave. Okay? So why are you here in Western? So, for example, you can insert anything, like for example, like shaking hands. In Islam, you don't want to shake hands of the opposite gender, so freely. And so that's been an issue that's been brought up. Oh, if you're against shaking hands, then get out of this country, right?
Yeah.
So I want to get right into it. Like I think there's a lot of cool things that we can talk about, a lot of ways of looking at issues that hopefully can squeeze the mind grapes of the audience. So what do you have to say in regards to that?
Yeah, mashallah, you're jumping straight into the heat, so to speak. I just want to say, first of all, may Allah have mercy on all those who passed away at the Quebec shooting, and give justice to all those who are oppressed around the world. So yeah, it's funny when people say that. I find it especially funny when Muslims make that argument, why don't you just leave if you're uncomfortable here? I mean, there's so many problems with that sort of rhetoric, and there's a lot of different ways of approaching it. But I think the one that's perhaps most egregious, or the one that's most insulting, really, is that in making that statement, it's actually, it's reproducing the sort of rhetoric that Muslims don't belong here, right? I mean, to be able to tell someone, well, why don't you go back home, or why don't you leave the country, it immediately presumes that this isn't their country or this isn't their place, right? And that's inherently what Islamophobia is really about, right? I mean, among the various rhetorics is that if we think about from a historical perspective, the West versus the rest, Western being large, racialized as white, rest being people who are non-white. And so people who are non-white are either like, they're either visitors or they were brought against their will, but they don't actually belong to the concept of the nation. And so you'd rarely, or if not, it just never happens that, a white person would be challenged with that argument. So there's already that, but I mean, I think one of the funniest things about that type of statement is that it's such an insult, I think, to how people just experience, the world itself, right? I mean,
yes.
So many people just don't have that sort of relationship to any other place besides where their family is, etc. So it reproduces a reality that you just don't belong, and your experiences don't really matter.
Yes.
Sort of get out of here type of thing. And it really belongs to a very nationalistic way of looking at the world.
Do I feel that the New York police are providing enough protection, or do I have to have protection of my own? I look for protection from Allah.